Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Unbelievable. Wow. Such enthusiasm. Lil Bedikas Chametz. The very, very large crowd that came today to the shir. Unbelievable. I've been talking to myself. Daf goes on. Lil Bedikas Chametz. There are still people doing Bedikas Chametz. It's not that rough, just I want to say close to 40 years ago. 40 years ago, my father was doing biggest chametz. 6 hours into it, and the mattress in the bedroom caught on fire, and the whole our house basically went up in flames. It was a whole matzav. So there are people that are machmer. They do more than the 10, 20 minutes, hour, whatever it is.
People said,
so
for that reason, people said that.
Oh, the Rav is here. Is that the Rav? No, that's somebody else. Okay. I was saying this would be like not the right night for the Rav to show up. Okay, we got to get on. Be'ezer Hashem, I'm supposed to be giving 6 shiurim from now until the Sedar. I don't think that will happen, but it's going to be more like 4. 2 tonight, and I'll talk to Mark. I got to do Nun Hey Nun Vav tomorrow. Anyway, let's do a couple of emails and we'll jump right into it. The Void MDY. Hi, Rebelli. Thank you so much for your shiurim. Thanks to my good friend Yolzi, who introduced me to your shiurim. So during vacations, I learned with your lessons. Sure, I cannot resist take this picture. When I saw this issue, I mean, thank you a lot, Rebelli. Best regards, Yaakov G. Anyway, Kitzer, he's learning. Thank you, Abi. Those of you who want to know, Abi's 14 years old, and he's shtickle Ilui. He showed his rabbeim that he has a lot of ideas and he's actually retaining it. So they said, okay, you could do Daf Yomi. We don't really recommend it for the rest of the Bachram Yeshiva. Sameach, how the Sugi Veinah changes lives. Mark Duke from Boramud, your Talmud from Beitza here. Another, how did the Daf change my life email for you, but in particular the Sugi Veinah. I always knew that I referred to the seller overcharging, but didn't realize until the recent Sugis that referred to the buyer getting a great deal too. Maisis Shahoya to me. I was collecting some Pesach items from a local store. When I got home, I realized I've been seriously undercharged. Part of feeling that it was wrong and not to go back to the store to pay for what I should have been charged for in the first place was human error, which can happen when the store is full. I knew that I was also oiver anina, oiver, O-I-V-E-R, oiver anina as a buyer, and I underpaid more than a sixth for the order. Have a great yontiv. Your Talmud, Mark, bringing the daf home, using the daf. That's what he means by changing lives. Changing lives doesn't mean that you look different, you wear a different hat or something. Changing lives means that you're mekayim different mitzvahs, you're makbid on different things. All of a sudden, you start making a su'uda, a rosh chodesh, you start being mechaven on the matzah, the achila, the kezayis, different things like that. Chemi Jacobs, hi Rebelli, just wanted you to know what starting Daf Yomi has done. Since starting with you, I've started to also learn more above and beyond the daf. And tomorrow morning, I'll be making a siyum on Sedar Zechus. It's chashuv by Chemi Jacob. Mazel tov Chemi Jacob. Mazel tov Chemi Jacob. I never would have thought of accomplishing such a feat, but it's about the Yomi. And day after day for a year and a half, allow me to complete it. That's very chashuv. A year and a half. Onto Mesechus Shabbos and Seder Moed. Beautiful. Mazel tov. That's what it is. Why is Yusham?
I think so. It's Mishnayos, but I think it's why is Yusham. It's really a big deal.
Givaldic. So let me just go back here a second. The Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. The Paras HaChodesh Le'nishma Zechrya Ben Moshe Le'nishma Chaya Bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, it should be a zchus to rebellion for continuous siyadta dishmaya and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Paras HaChodesh, Yosef Ben Chaya Sara, for zchusim that come from supporting limud HaTorah. Paras HaChodesh, Binyomin Rosenfeld for hatzlacha in business and all my endeavours. Paras HaYoim, Yaakov Soled Z, HaRav Moshe Ben Yaakov Soled Z. Note: Father's yahrzeit is Chav Beis Nisan. Paras HaYoim has a zchus to keep up with the daf over Pesach. And to have a true Chakoshev Sameach, our boys, I already said. This is the first I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this together with you. Parnas Hayoim, as a zchus to keep up with the daf over Pesach, and to have a true Chag kosher Sameach, which is really the hardest mitzvah in the Torah, to have a Chag Sameach. It's very, very difficult. But you have to, it's an avodah to keep up with the daf. I'm wishing everybody hatzlacha and davening for me that I should be able to give 2 shiurim on both tomorrow and the last day of Yontif, so that in Eretz Yisrael they have the shiurim. I shouldn't miss that many Hebrew shiurim. By Tzvi Gluck, the Nishmas Sara Bas Dovid Yechiel, and the art of the month anonymous for the zechus for an easy childbirth, his daughter and a healthy baby. Beautiful. Rabbi Isai, shkoyach for coming out. Tomorrow is Erev Pesach, one of the most difficult days to learn, but we do it. And that's what makes us Daf Yomi Yidden. We learn every single day, and we could always find 40 minutes within the day somewhere to do the daf. Don't forget to prepare for the Sedar if you haven't done so. Open up some svarim, come up with some good stuff, make it interesting and exciting for the kids. We're holding daf Num Gimel Amud Beis, 5 lines from the bottom. Iboil. I do want, as I probably won't have time tomorrow to make phone calls, I do want to wish Barabim, Chakosh Sameach, to my tremendous did Yossi Klein, who ran the whole charity campaign, and to Nisan Gans, and to all the Chaver in Eretz Yisrael. It might be too late already. To Gary, and to Dave, and to Benny, and to Yosef Biliak, and to Tomer. Also, Yishkoyach to Abba Renner for sending the amazing wine. You didn't have to. It was mamish not necessary. Yishkoyach. Who is it? Shlomi? Who's the wine guy here? Shlomi, the wine guy. Very expensive wine. 2 bottles of very not necessary. I think his name is Shlomi, the wine guy over here. Something like that. So who else? I know I'm missing people as usual. Avi Kamiansky and all Fix and all the Chaver. Chakosh v'sameach to everybody. Thank you all. I know that so many of you out there have done so much for MDY this year, and you should koyach, and you should all have a chakosh v'sameach. I'm thinking about Shapsi Cohen. All these, so many. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of people that donated, people that went after the donation. But kids, sir, you know who you are. Even my son Lazi, I forgot him. He edits he uploads the Hebrew shir every single day. Shlomo Lazarian. This is a Shas line right over here. It's important because we talk about it all the time. And I was in this farm store today, and there's a huge line. And I started talking very loud. Very loud. I got the entire line. I'm talking about 20 people in line, minimum. And they started asking them about how many korbanos for Pesach, Tmura, Trumas Meiser, the whole thing, going through the whole thing. I didn't ask them choimish, how much the choimish is, because I didn't want to embarrass anybody. There's a few people that knew this stuff. Believe it or not, people knew. Some younger bachrim actually that knew. Ibaylu, chumshom legav, chumshom lebar. We talk about this, and this is important to the whole Shas. It's not just for this sugya, it's for all of Shas. When the Torah says choimish, and there's a number of cases we'll be talking about, gezel, hegdish, different pidyonis, and meiser sheni, you have to add a 5th. Maybe when do you add a 5th by gezel? What's the case of gezel? You add a 5th. Remember?
Stealing from hegdish?
No, stealing from a regular person.
You swear to make sure.
AB. Wow. AB. You know what? I'm going to turn the camera on AB. And his father's. Something of a father. Very good. Okay. So AB just said the right answer. It's when you steal and you swear falsely that you didn't steal, and then you want to do tshuva, so you have to add a 5th. So iboilu chumsha milgav chumsha milbar. When I say 20%, a 5th, 20%, do I mean from within the money? So if we're talking about $20, how much is 20% of $20? 4. Or perhaps it's 5. Sorry. Here, let's see this inside. I don't want to confuse myself here. Chomish Milabar, Chomish Miligav. There are 4 times 5 or 5 times 4. Right? So 20% of 20 would be 4. Or perhaps it's 5. Talking about $100. So it's either $20 or $25. What's the difference? Do we look at what we have, what we call in America 20%, and that would be, if we're talking about a $20 bill or a 20 whatever pounds, so 20% of that is 4. That's the way we call it. Or perhaps it's 5. Why? And which basically the question is it 20% or 25%? And the way the Gemara figures the math is that once you're done with everything, so you add all the bills together, all the 5s together, now you have 25, and you take a fifth of that, 20% of that is $5. Yeah? Do we calculate the final, or do we calculate what we have now? Milibar means the outside, miligav means the inside. Ibaylu chumsha miligav, in other words, is it 20%? Or chumsha milibar, is it 25%? That what? That you take the final, like we have now on the screen, final amount, which is, in this case, 25. And we take a fifth of 25, we take 20% of 25, it's 5. So is it $4 or $5? Is it 20% or 25%? And the Gemara is going to say that what? That's milibar. So anytime the Gemara, the Torah says chaimish, it means not 20%, it means 25%. I'll prove it to you. We're talking about somebody who's redeeming his field, ancestral field. He donated his property, his real estate to the Beis HaMikdash. Now he wants to redeem it, he wants it back. It's sentimental to him, so he wants it back. He has some money, raise some money. The halacha is he has to add a chaimish. Now how much is it? If we know from here how much it is, then we know for the rest of the Torah. Over here it's going to tell us it's 25%. It's straight out. So they come, they ask him for the first bid. How much do you want to pay for your field? He says 20. How much does he really have to pay? Because he has to pay a chaimish now. 25. So once we know it's 25 and not 24, 24. It's either 4 more or 5 more. It's either 20% of 20 or 25% of the entire thing. So it's either 25 or 24. But if we know the number is 25, then we know that for the rest of the Torah, it's milibar, it's the outside, it's what we call 25%, not 20%. So how do we see it? They give an opening bid of 20. And then you go ahead and you also give a bid of 20. Who wins? Why? The Beis HaMikdash gains by going with the owner because the owner has to add the chaimish. Now it still doesn't say how much the chaimish is. So if one person says 21, the owner said 20. Comes the next guy says 21. Ooh. It says, yeah, it does say. It says, over here it says, the owner gives 26. In other words, he has to add the chaimish on top of the bid that the other guy gave. Again, his initial bid is how much, Rabbi say? 20. The other guy comes and gives 21 as a bid. What's his final? 26. Because you take the chaimish that he initially had to give, you add it to the second bid of 21, and the total is 26. So you see that the chaimish The original chaimish is 5, not 4. That tells me that it's a 25% addition. Now let's think about it for a second. What just happened there? The owner said he's giving a bid for 20, that equals 25. Another guy said, I want to give 21. So why doesn't the owner just give 25? The answer is because he has to match every bid. Even though his total price is more than everybody else. He's at 25 and the other guy's 21. But his bid of 20 is less than the 21. So we have to up his bid. It doesn't look good for Beis Hamikdash. We have to up his bid to 21. And then we just add the 5 to the 21. 5 plus 21 equals 26. And we keep on doing this. Until what? Until you get to 30. Again, so top line in Daf Nun Daled Amud Aleph. Ezra Shnayim, somebody gives a bid of 22. So you add his 5 on top of 22. Habal Loisrim Ezra Sheva, 27. Bezra Shalosh, somebody gives a bid for 23. You add the 5 to the 23. Habal Loisrim Ezra Shmoy to 28. Bezra Arba, somebody gives a 24 bid. Habal Loisrim Ezra Desha, you add 5 to the 24 is 29. Ezra Chamish, this is the final one. 25 plus 5 equals 30. So again, the owner initially gave a bid of 20. He ends up paying 30. Why? 5 for the chaimish. And because he has to match every other bid, there's just a shiloh. Rashi brings down a question. If a guy gave a bid of Habaylim Noislim, sorry. So the question is, how come he wins, not the other guy? The other guy gives 25, he matches the 25. Rashi he brings the question, he just doesn't say the answer. The Gemara over there says loy duck, that he gave a little bit more. We have to say that his bid was 20 plus, a little bit. Okay, fine. Says the Gemara, Lefi she'ein moisifim chomesh al Eli shel Z. Okay. Esrim v'chamesh habal moisim shloishim lefi she'ein moisifim chomesh al Eli shel Z. You don't give a fifth on top of what this guy gave. Says the Gemara, Shmamina, Chum Shemelabar, Shmamina. So over here, anyway, just the bottom line is from all this, we see the Chaimish is 5. The Chaimish is 5, and his initial bid is 20. So 5 and 20 means that 5 is 25%. Because if it was Chaimish, Milagav, if it was from inside, it would be 24, his final bid, not 25. Says the Gemara, Ketanoi, Yosef Chamishisoi Olav, Shehu v'chumshoi Chamisha. It says in the pasuk, Yosef Chamishisoi Olav, you should add a fifth to it. Shehu v'chumshoi Chamisha. So, Chamishisoi Olav, Divi Reb Yoshia, that it should be 25%. Reb Yoshia, Chamishisoi Chumshoi Shel Keren. It's a fifth, again, so if you look at this, it's a fifth of the keren, meaning 20%. Not in addition to the principal, in the principal. This just shows that it's 20% of the keren. Okay. Iboilu. Chaimish maka v'eina maka v'nu sugyo, Rabbi. V'nu sugyo. What happens if a person doesn't give the 25%? He goes ahead and he redeems whatever he's redeeming, and he forgets to give the 25%. Does it ruin the redemption or not? Says Gemara, Bar Barba Parik, is the pshat Makavayna Makav. Bar Barba Parik, Bakanafshi Moisiv Chaimish. He redeemed whatever he had to redeem, and the 25% is a side deal. Alma Chaimish Leimakim, so it doesn't really ruin the whole thing. When a person redeems something for 4, he's really redeeming 5. The Chaimish, the 25% is all part of it. If he doesn't give it, no good. Omer Ravina Toshma, Hadmai ein loy chomesh ve'ein loy biur. Hadmai means, what does Dmai mean? Domai, that when a Amoret sells you fruit, so Midarabanan, there is a miyut hamatzui, there's a bunch of Amorasim that don't give meiser. They give truma, but they don't give meiser. And therefore, you have to assume that their fruit doesn't have meiser sheni either. So, Demai ein lechomesh. When you redeem that Demai, that meiser sheni from the Amoretz, you don't have to add 25%.
How was the answer to the other question?
Which one?
The first question is if you had maser and you didn't pay the extra fifth.
Which question?
The first question, top of the net, didn't say you did pay you redeemed your
Ibailu, that question?
Yeah.
We don't know yet. Hold on.
Okay.
We're saying Tashma. We're getting there. Again, what's the question? The question is the Chaimish ma'akiv or not ma'akiv? If you don't give the Chaimish, what happens to you? Did you ruin everything, or you'll pay later? Meanwhile, you can do whatever you need to do. Omar Ravina Toshma. See from here. Hadmai ein loy Chaimish. You don't give the 25% off of Dmai again. You don't really have to midaraise. You don't have to give the trumas and meisers, but the Chacham said you should give Dmai. You should give the trumas and meisers. But don't worry about it. When you redeem the meiser sheni, you don't have to add a fifth. Now this is a kiss from Hashem. Mamish a kiss from Hashem. Ve'ein loy biur. What does ein loy biur mean? No, you don't even know why. You're laughing. You don't even know why. I'm not talking about biur chametz. Biur over here means that when you have meiser sheni, you must destroy it at the end of the third year. Erev Pesach. Check this out. Mikei Shaloshanim Toitzi es kol maser tzvoscha v'shonahi v'nachna b'shorecha. It's talking about Erev Pesach. Mamish today. Literally today, because we're after Shkia. This is tomorrow's shir. Kiss from Hashem. This is the day. Now, it's not every year. It's at the end of the third year.
3 and 7.
Yeah.
3 years starting the cycle.
By the way, I did look it up. I'm right about you have to be on the ground floor. It's in Psachim. Ha Karen Yeshloi. So what wants to say from here that there's no chaimesh, but there is din of a meiser sheni on the principle that you buy from an amaretz. You buy from an amaretz, there is meiser sheni. Why? So more wants to prove from here. My time carry the makiv the raisa isib the rabbanon. So the principle, which is obviously you have to redeem the principle in all years. So then when you have a derabanan, you also have to do the principle because it has to mimic the deraisa. Principle is something you must do. So when you have demai, you must do it. Chaimish, deloy ma'akiv. But I could learn from here that the 25% is not the end of the world. It doesn't hold us back. B'deraisa, even in a deraisa, less of the rabbanon. So that's the raya. We're trying to prove from here the chaimish is not ma'akiv. You see, because there's no chaimish by an amaretz. Why is there no chaimish by amaretz? Because it's not by the deraisa. The only thing that's by the amaretz is what is important by the deraisa. So the rabbanon mimic that as well. Says the Gemara, "Limud Tanoi." Perhaps this is machlokes Tanoim. Nosan es haker v'lo nosan es chaimish. Here, this is the case. A person gave the principal, but he didn't pay the 25%. Reb Eliezer Omer yoichal. He should eat the fruit outside of Yerushalayim. Reb Omer lo yoichal. Don't eat the fruit. Omer Rebbe, and Rebbe continues and says, "Nidum divrei Reb Eliezer b'Shabbos." On Shabbos Kodesh, go ahead and eat. We're going to see later. There's a svara on Shabbos. There's a special oini. You should have tainug. Should enjoy yourself. So on Shabbos they weren't so much. Rabbi Shua says, don't eat it. L'chayra will pass and says Rabbi like Rabbi Shua in the weekday. Says the Gemara near Rabbi Eliezer Shabbos because he said, let's go with Rabbi Eliezer on Shabbos. Rabbi Eliezer argued on the weekday. Just we go like Rabbi Eliezer on Shabbos. And when we said that the halachas like Rabbi Shua that you shouldn't eat this ma'aser sheni, that you didn't take the fifth, the 25% in the weekday. He argues in Shabbos. My love. So what is the source of their machlokes? What's the svara behind it? The Rebbe Savar Chaimish Lamakim. Rebbe Savar Chaimish Makim. Mamish our question. No, that's how we could explain it. Is the Chaimish important to ruin it or not? It's not a raya. The Kuli Alma Chaimish Lamakim. Perhaps everybody agrees that the 25%. If you don't add the 25%, it's not the end of the world. Are we concerned that if you let the guy eat it as is without paying the 25%, he might neglect to pay the 25% later? I'm thinking about my kid now. I didn't think about it before. I have a kid. I'm not going to go into which one. He wants to get an award, let's say, right? He wants to play a game, or the devices. So I thought, okay, if you learn or whatever, you learn with me. He says, yeah, first I'll play and then I'll learn. That never happens. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Now, first, I thought, no, first you have to learn. No, I promise, this time. If you let the guy eat first, then he might not come to pay his 25% later. You know what I'm saying? I see the Olam over here is relating to me. Not with Abi for sure. No, it's different. Abi's there. Let's remember these words. Hakol Moedim. What is Hakol Moedim? There's no machlokes. The Kula Alma. The what? The Hegdish Shechilel. When it comes to Hegdish. So somebody donated a car, right? Cars for kids. He donated a car to the Beis Hamikdash. You go and you want that car, so you give money to the Beis Hamikdash. You redeem the car. You have to pay 25% extra. It's a redeeming thing.
If it's your car.
Huh?
You only pay if it's your car. Somebody else redeems it.
Right. If it's yours. Your thing. Correct. I just thought about a joke though. That's why I'm the famous mice. This is a famous one, but it's a couple. The plane crashed and they ended up on an island. So the husband asked the wife, "Did you end up paying the tuition for the? You know what I'm talking about? Tuition joke. That's the oldest joke in the world." So she says, "No, but what's the difference? We're stuck here on an island." He says, because if you didn't pay the tuition, trust me, they'll find us. So that's what it says over here. Something like that, right? I ruined the punchline, Baruch. But the point is, don't worry about it. They're going to find this guy. The guy in charge of the tzedakah funds of the Beis Hamikdash is going to come get you. So we're not concerned. Says the Gemara, there's no machlokes in Hegdish. The guy gave the principal, but he didn't pay the 25%. Here's the machlokes. According to Reb Eliezer, it works, and according to Chacham, it doesn't work. You have to pay the 25%. Here says Rebbe, I like Reb Eliezer when it comes to Hegdish. I like Chacham when it comes to Meiser. That it's not good by Meiser. It is good in Hegdish. From Rebbe's words, you see that they argued on both. So the problem is, Reb Elchanan is the one that said that according to everybody, when it comes to Hegdish, you don't need to do the Chaimish. We'll take care of the Chaimish later. We have a Gizra that's going to come chase you. Over here says this is machlokes. No, Reb Elchanan says something completely different. Oh, Reb Elchanan. Hakol Moedim, you know where everybody admits? B'Shabbos. B'Hegdish Shechilel. If somebody was mechalel, in other words, he redeemed on Shabbos, then you don't have to give, you could eat without giving the Chaimish. Why? There's two svaras. Chada, the Chsiv, the Karasol, the Shabbos, Oineg. So, first of all, the Chofetz Chaim says, I don't have he said in Yiddish, a whole quote in Yiddish, that if you prevent yourself from shmecking tabak on Shabbos, you like shmecking tabak and you don't, you're over on the Karasal Shabbos Oineg. If there's a geschmack at chont and you don't eat from it, you're over on the Karasal Shabbos Oineg. But here's the Hellenic story, and also for me, it's a kiss from Hashem. Because a Chana Feinstein the Makachir here in Lincolnwood. On Shabbos, he told me this story. And I called him up today. I said, the story he told me, it's mamish in the Gemara, the words that he told me. He couldn't believe it. He just told me throughout a story. He said that the Reb Kidnovations, somebody came to him and said that his son doesn't want to wear a hat on Shabbos. Should he put some pressure on? The covered Shabbos kodesh. By some people, it's super, super important. You don't like the hat version. He doesn't want to wear a jacket, a suit, whatever it is. He wants to wear his shirt untucked. Okay, you fill in whatever the mice is. So Chaim Kanievsky said, there's a covered Shabbos, okay, but there's also Oynik Shabbos. And for your son, not to wear his hat, not to wear a jacket, that's his Oynik Shabbos. So what is that? Listen to that. That's his Oynik Shabbos, to walk around like a schlepper with the gym shoes to shul. Okay, whatever it is, Mishigas says, okay? You don't like it? Too bad. It's his Oynik Shabbos, it says. Some people are going crazy. He's not going to wear shramos to shul. That's his Oynik Shabbos. What do you care? It's hard for us to comprehend, but that's what he said. Such a zog. But here it is. V'koroso Shabbos oineg, that because he has a chiyuv to enjoy himself and to eat geshmaka stuff, so we're going to allow him to do that without the chomish. On a weekday not, but on Shabbos yes. And there's another reason why by hegdish. We're not talking about ma'aser sheni. We're talking about hegdish. Because you have the Gizber, you have the Gabbai that's going to come after him. You cannot use real estate to redeem Hegdish. Let's say there's a car, you need your car back. You cannot use real estate to redeem it. It must be cash. What about the 25%? So, what about the 20? What about says Gemara another thing. Truma. If a Yisrael eats truma's food for a kohen, and a Yisrael eats it by mistake, so he has to pay the truma and 25%. He must use non-truma fruit to pay back. Regular fruit. Why? Something that could be kodesh. The question is, same question kind of, can you pay the chomish to the kohen with cash or clothing, says Rashi, not chulin fruit? Another question. Here's a picture of an asimoin. Basically, it's a coin without any depiction. So you cannot use such a coin for ma'aser sheni. It must be cash, coins. It has to have a tzura. It has to have a depiction. But what about the 25%? I can use non-depiction coin. Is Galgal Mills told all these questions came to Rav. Amar Lu, Amar Kura, all love. See? Vishkiyach HaKodesh B'Shgaga V'Yosef Chamishisoi all love. But also HaKodesh HaKodesh all love. So says Gemara. The rabbis Chumshoi Kemoisoi. Olav comes to include the 25% has to be just like the principle. So that answers all our questions. Just like the principle, you can't use real estate. So too, for the chomish, you can't use real estate. Can you use a nasima in that coin that is a depiction? No, it's like the real estate. What other question do we have? Karka, Truma with Chulin, Chulin. Could you use money and clothing for the Chaimish? The answer is no. We also learned that Goinev Truma v'lo if a person steals Truma from a Kohen and he doesn't need it, Mishlam Tashlumi Kefil, the made Truma. So he pays Kefil, like every Ganav has to pay double if he doesn't admit. And it's how much does he pay? The value of Truma. Truma is usually cheaper than regular fruit because there's a very small market for Kiyad. Achala, if the Ganav didn't realize that it's Truma and he ate it, so the eating was a shogeg. He's a bad guy for eating it, but it was a shogeg. He didn't realize it's Truma. He has to pay 2 principles for the kefil and 25% extra, 125% extra. Karen v'chaymesh v'nachulin. So from the fact that the Gemara says over here the karen and the chaymesh are the same, they both must be from the same fabric from chulin. So that's our raya that the chaymesh, the 25%, is like the principle. That's his raya. And the Gemara continues about karen, and the second principle, the may truma, could be cheaper. Shmamina, chumshay kemoisoi, shmamina. You see from here, the chaymesh, the principle, and the 25% are supposed to be the same. If you can't do it from property, don't do it property. You can't do it with money, whatever it is. We just turned to Daf Yomi Base, sponsored by Kidnovations, like a kid, Kidnovations. In honor of my Uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, and as a zchus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga, by official mitzvah motivators in honor of the limuds for sponsoring Sfar for the daily Talmud learning, and by the Gewurtzman brothers for the Yosef of our grandfathers, HaRav Moshe Ben Yechil, an original real Yaki, and a Rav Eliezer Moshe Ben Reb Shema Zatzal. You guys are Yakis? No.
We get asked that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
For some reason I thought.
Tendencies.
Yeah. Always coming on time to shir. Listen, Tzaddik, you're doing a tremendous thing. On love these comments, you took your son. You told me yesterday you're not going to be able to come. It's going to be too hard. Valve became you came. Tremendous zach. When your wife's not working tonight?
She's not working tonight.
She's able to get off, kind of. All right. Omar Rava, if anybody knows of a good pharmaceutical job for this Tzaddik's wife, Fabi's mother, let me know. Here in Chicago. Because Jewel Ascalon and all these big things, they make them work. They don't get any days off during the year. The only days off are Yom Tovim. That's it. No other vacation days. Garnished. Amar Gabi Gezel Ksiv v'chamishisav Yosef Olav. You have to add 25% on top of what you stole. If a person steals, swears that he didn't steal, and then he's moida, he has to give 25%. But not. If a person gave the principal and he swore that he already paid the 25%, he's digging himself deeper and deeper. First he swears that he didn't steal. Then he admits that he stole. Then he swears he paid the chaimish, which is not true. So now we have this whole sugya of a 25% on top of the 25%. Okay? 10 minutes, don't worry, we're almost done. Someone pays. We add the 25% on top of the 25%. He lies on the second 25%, so he has to pay 25% of that 25%. Then he lies on the third 25%, so he has to pay 25% of the 25% of the 25%. I'll show you the depiction in a second, and we get to the next one. Gabi Trumok Siv. So let me just find something here. This guy's funny. Here. I want to show you these are the things that we're talking about. Chaimish al Chaimish, Gezel, Truma, Ma'aser and Hegdesh. You can tell that I did this, not Yoshi. These are the 4. I just want to point out, we're talking about these 4, okay? The one that we're going to have a problem with is Hegdesh all the way at 10. Gabi Truma Ksiv, Ish Ki Yoichal Kodesh Bishgogav Yosef Hamishisoi Olav Usnan. Now let me get back to here. Shema. Ish So here's the pasuk. Actually, this is the pasuk. He pays if you eat truma, you're Yisrael, you eat truma by mistake, you pay principal and 25%. Whether you eat it, drink it, or bathe with it, use it as shampoo. So Rabbi said, listen to this. This is also going to get the Pesach. How's this going to get the Pesach? Does shampoo need a hechsher?
No, it's not really for self.
That's what you would think. It's not really Achilles Kalef. What would be the reason why shampoo doesn't need a hechsher?
It is really for self.
No. Shampoo, soap, all these things. Oh, because it's sicha. And over here it says that sicha, meaning, how do you say sicha in English? No.
That's the son of the
What does it say over there? How does he call sicha in the art scroll?
Strength.
Anointing yourself?
There's the whole thing's a suffering. If I'm
What anointing?
Yeah.
So, the halacha is like this, that if a person destroys hegdish, pours on the floor, he doesn't have to pay a chaimish. Only if he eats it or drinks it. Drinking is like eating. So where does sicha come into it? Sicha is like eating. And if sicha is like eating, then it could be a problem for chametz and Pesach. There's such a conversation in the Achronim, because shampoo and soap is like eating, has a little bit of eating. Whether it's tar or it's tummy. Truma, that's tummy. Mishalim chumsha, he pays a fifth of 25%. The chumsha, and he would pay 25% on the 25%. V'ilu gabe meiser loy michtav ksiv. It doesn't say this. V'loy misnetani. So here, let me just show you how Yoshi depicted it. Hold on. Yishma, you ready? Avi, take a look. He eats a whole thing of truma, and then he lies about the chaimish, and he eats that. Then he has a problem with he has to add 25% of the 25%, which is that little piece, and then he eats that. The kids are lie. If you take the word lie out, he's eating the truma, and he keeps on eating the more and more. He keeps on, by mistake, he keeps on eating the 25%. Then he eats the 25% of the 25%. It keeps on going down until it's not worth anything. So what about Meiser Sheni? What about Meiser Sheni, that if I take the money, I redeem fruit on money, and then I take the money and I redeem it on other money? It doesn't tell us. Nobody even asked the question. So the question is like this: Gabi Hegdish, if by Hegdish, yeah, somebody's makdish a house, when you redeem your own house, you add 25%. What about 25%? The 25%, my Gabi Trumaksiv Yosef. Oh, so by Truma we have the passage that says V'Yosef. Gabi Kodesh Nami Hoksiv V'Yosef. On the bottom by Hegdish it also says V'Yosef. Dilma, so maybe it's the same thing. So you keep on paying 25% and 25%. Dilma, Gabi Trumaksiv Yosef, Ishak L'Slei Levav the Yosef, V'Yisholisle Al Chamishi Soy. You do something like this. Let me get all the way back here. Sorry. Here it says Chamishi Soy, and you take the Vav from the word right before it, and you add it to Chamishi Soy. So what do you have? Chamishi Sov, which is really Chamishi Sov. Right? You add the vav instead of having two vavs at the end. We'll say chamishi sov. Chamishi sov. Great. So I know from this that you do a chaimish of a chaimish. Yeah. How many people came out of Mitzrayim?
1/5.
Chaimish. Talking about chaimish here. Chaimish came out of Mitzrayim. What else? What time is it? 10 o'clock. Okay, we're almost finished. Fine. It doesn't work on the word chamishis. It only works on chamishisov. On chamishisoi, you can turn chamishisoi into chamishisov, which means a fifth of a fifth. 25% of 25%. But on the word chamishis, and you add a vav to it, it doesn't work. Soif, havelei chamishisoi. Okay? So it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that you keep on doing 25% to 25%. Says the 25% is when you redeem it. When you redeem it, it's the second. How do you say in English? This is the first. This is hegdish. Then you take this cup and you put it into this cup. So this is secondary, or what's the secondary?
Secondary sanctity.
No, but this is a better word. No, not second place. Secondary. Okay, secondary. Isn't the 25% secondary? It loses the power of kedusha to it. The reason why there's no 25% on the 25% is because Rabbi Shimon Levi says that you only add 25% to the original hegdish, to this, not to this. And the chaimish is the secondary. Says the Gemara. By the way, we're talking about hegdish, so actually we're going to talk soon about even Kashim Kala, which is Korban Pesach. But I don't want to forget this, that in Eretz Yisrael today they have subscriptions. I spoke about yesterday, subscription to Trumas and Meisers. They have a subscription to Korban Pesach. In case Mashiach comes, they have ready to go these lambs, blah, blah, blah. You become part of it. Somebody once mentioned to Reb Steinman, isn't it a beautiful thing that people are yearning for Mashiach because they make subscriptions to the Korban Pesach? So he said, how much is it? So he says 12 shekel subscription. So he says 12 shekels not a piece of the Mashiach. It was 12,000 shekel. A person went out of his comfort zone. Oh, he's waiting for Mashiach. He's willing to pay 12,000 shekel. That's willing to pay $4 that makes him waiting for Mashiach? No, thank you. That's what he said. Okay. Says the Gemara. Not true. Hegdish is not considered the secondary. It's considered the first, in first place.
Right.
The primary. Thank you. It's the primary. It's not considered the secondary. My Havela. At the end of the day, what came out? That the 25% is like the principle. Just like on the principle, you add 25%. You keep on going, you do 25% of the 25%. I like this Rishon Moshe Chaimish, I like the Sheni Moshe Chaimish. We just said they only give 25% on the primary, not on the secondary. Amarava, my time is Rishon Levi. What's the where did you get it from? Omar Kro, the Magdish Igal is Beisoy, Hamagdish V'lo Hamatfis. It's on what you are Magdish, but not what you are Matfis. Matfis means this is instead of this. In other words, the primary, not this secondary. Matfis is the secondary. We're talking about a non-kosher animal. Somebody donates a horse to the Beis Hamikdash, and you want to redeem the horse. The animal is hegdish rishon, is primary, right? When you take the horse and make it hegdish, it's primary. It's not secondary. It's not that you redeemed it. It's before you redeemed it. It's in first place. It's primary. The owner has nothing in it. Sometimes when you have something that's hegdish, like a carbon pesach, a lot of it, most of it is actually owned by a private citizen, not a horse. Umoyalimba. What does umoyalimba? Avi, what does umoyalimba mean?
That you take it without can only show you.
What is moyalimba? You did mi'ila. Very good, because the word umoyalimba, it's tricky. Umoyalimba would seem like you could do mi'ila. Umoyalimba means you're over amila, chayev, for using something from so too anything else that's primary, and human beings have nothing to do with it. They're not owners in it. The owner has nothing in it. You would be over amila, but let's say a carbon pesach, you're not over amila. Why? Because the humans are going to be eating from it. It's meant to be used, so there's no me'ila on it. You're not over amila. What?
The same thing for Shlom?
Yeah. Shlom is also. No. Oh, you're saying that? No. Hold on, we'll see in a second. Here we go. Omale Rebelaz Latano. Bishlam Kula Shamayim Lemuti Koshim Kalam. Kula Shamayim means to exclude Koshim Kalam like Shlomim, which is also Korban Pesach. Given this little Balam Gavayu, since the owner has ownership in it, let's bumila. You're not over on using it. What does it come to, when it says Tchilas Hegdish, that it's primary Hegdish? What does it come to exclude? The Hegdish truth is Be'me'ila, Soif Hegdish, the secondary Hegdish, less Be'me'ila. Says Gemara, Dilma, Lin Chamish Kamish Rabbi Shimon Levi. Maybe you tell me that it's not for Me'ila, but for the Chaimish. In Hachikami, that's what I meant to say. All right, Rabbi Yisai, Yishkoyach for coming. The Olam is tired. The Olam has to go back and do B'dikas Chametz, continue whatever they're doing. Tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, no schedule. If anybody wants to, maybe we'll throw it on the chat. I'm trying to do Daf Yomi as early as possible in the day, so that I could do Nun Vav without being Mechal Yontif by driving to the hotel. It's still 40 minutes away from here, so I have to do it and get there and prepare for Yontif a little bit. Chag Sameach, everybody. Please do not fall off the daf. And if you do, skip forward. Zechus.